All right, time for another demo. This time we're going to explore normal force. Normal force is a contact force between two objects, but a lot of people confuse normal force with weight. So this is a demonstration to prove to you that normal force and weight are not the same thing. For example, right here I have this scale set up to measure in pounds, and you can see that it reads nothing right now. And you might say, well, that makes sense because there's no weight on top of it. But if I take my finger and I put it on top of the scale and I press down more or less, I can change the reading on the scale. Now let me ask you a question. Is my finger getting any heavier? Well, no, it's not getting any heavier. The weight of my finger is a constant. I'm not adding any mass, taking any mass away inside of this gravitational field, so that weight of that finger is constant. But if I press down harder, we read a bigger normal force. If I press down less hard, we read a smaller normal force. Okay, here's another way to think of this. Suppose I take an object, like this mass, and I set it on top of the scale. All right, we get a reading of what we would call the weight of this object. And in this case, it's 0.441, 0.442 pounds, give or take a little bit, okay? You might say, well, there it's measuring the weight. But watch what happens when I take the scale and I slowly start to tip it upwards, right? So instead of having a flat surface, I start to angle it. Here we go. So you can see that as I start to increase the angle of the scale, the reading on the scale gets less and less. And that's because the normal force is decreasing. Now let me ask you, is the weight of that block on the scale changing? No, the weight's the same. But we're changing the normal force by adjusting the angle of the surface. So be very careful. Don't confuse normal force with weight. Go Team Physics.